All right, this is Mamrie's room tour. I was going to do it. Hey guys, Claire here, and I'm with my fellow redhead.
Mamrie.
One of my favorite people, Mamrie Hart. And where are we?
We are in my boudoir.
We're in the boudoir.
It used to be just a bedroom.
It used to be, I remember it mostly as like a pass-through for your parties.
For some reason, for a few years while I lived here, I didn't spruce it up. So it was just more of like a large hallway until you came along.
And here we are. Your house is oddly shaped.
It's oddly shaped.
Yes.
But also, we decided to do this during an odd time because it was a couple weeks into lockdown, into quarantine. And I think after a couple weeks is when you start to go, I hate it here.
Yes. So many people, I think, have been focusing on their homes because when all you have to do is stare at four walls, you start noticing all the things about it. And you've been here for a minute.
I've been here for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And it was just such a boring room. And also, we have this wall of doors and windows, so it would get super freaking bright.
Yep.
I mean, as soon as the sun came up, it was just a full tanning bed in here.
It also had nothing to do with your personality. Like, you have such a strong personality. And so every time I'd come to your house, I'd be like, this doesn't make any sense. You love color, you love vintage, you love like kind of a shag carpet mentality.
Yes.
So we kind of were talking a little bit about like the character and like the story of the space.
Yes, absolutely. Like, what would the character of Mamrie, I'm talking in third person, what would her space look like? And really, what I love is that I am Goof Troop Central, and like the way I dress and stuff, it's very loud, but you have such an old school Hollywood glamour. It was like figuring out how to fuse those two together, and really how Claire could take my sense of like whimsy and humor and make it look like a woman of a years old.
Yes. Like how do you bring in color and fun and all of these great little reference points, but still have it feel like an actual like grown-up bedroom? The first thing we did was we sat down and we defined the color palette. I wanted to make sure that the colors we were playing with really felt like Mamrie, and honestly, I just chose colors I liked.
We went with this one because I think the green really stood out, and I love green, and also you try to get me to stop taking selfies, it's not going to happen. And green with red hair looks good together.
Well, and also it needed to, I mean, Chip, your boyfriend, spends his time
We'll
here.
edit him out if I dump him by then.
I mean, yeah. But yeah, we wanted it to be a, like, still have a feminine kind of quality to it, still like a boudoir energy, but without it being like so over the top girly. I just became obsessed with this idea of doing the cork wall.
Who thinks of this?
I just loved it. You know what it is? I'm just obsessed with, like, I love references.
If I got paid minimum wage for how many times I've nodded pretending to know what Claire is talking about in an old movie or a moment in history, I could have paid for this.
Oh my God. That's true. So we kind of looked at different samples. I really love the marbling on this one.
Me too.
It's like very active. And then it's so easy. You just honestly just throw some glue on the back. Just pop it on the wall.
It was so cool, and you just got, what are they? Are they tiles. 1 foot by 1 foot tiles?
Yeah, they're 1 by 2, and we just did a little herringbone pattern, and it kind of once again like grounded it, because I think if every wall was pink, it would be way too much. So having that really
it was a way to mix it up without it being an added print like a wallpaper. Yeah. Like, it's still neutral, but then you go, but it's like a cool feature.
Yeah, exactly. Painting a single room, I usually am like, okay, that's like a day project for 2 people, right? You know, you have to like 2 hours to organize it, and then you just do the paint, you do the primer, the paint, whatever. And you can totally paint yourself. You don't have to hire someone, but you just have to be very fussy about making sure that you like are actually.
Well, poor Claire, she was like, oh, here's a guy I use for painting, and he sent me a quote, and I was like, we're painting.
We're painting. So you know that quarantine, we're to wear masks and take a test, because this is what your weekend is now.
No, but this room has so many. It's got all the doors. It's got a closet. It's got a little nook in the corner. And then we did the ceiling. And
I didn't realize until we were doing it. It was so soul crushing. I mean, Hannah Hart came and helped us, and she was just like listening to folklore, like Taylor Swift had just dropped her.
She said, she was like, I'm gonna pop an Adderall and put in headphones.
And just
I'll
was
see
like,
y'all later.
and she was amazing. She was like a machine. Whereas like Mamrie and I are more like, I don't know. Yeah, we just kind of, I think both of us would get like kind of over where we're just like, we have to stop.
Yeah.
And just like leave the room.
We hadn't thought about this like one window we have. And we were
Yeah.
like, oh, what's that going to be? And so on the moment, we decided to make that half green, half pink. And
Yeah.
that's like my favorite thing.
It actually is great. It's
I love it.
It's like a fun little quirky moment. The original green we chose was a spruce green that I've used in the kitchen cabin. So I know it's like a gorgeous color. We put it on the wall in here, and it like as we're painting it, we're like, it's gonna darken. It's gonna look great.
We were in
It's
denial.
gonna look great. It's gonna look great.
We were in denial.
And as we kept going, we're like, it's gonna look. Our voices just kept getting higher and higher and higher.
And then you
right?
guys left, and I was like, well, you know,
it'll
let's see
dry.
what
It'll
happens
dry tomorrow.
overnight. And then I'm sitting in here in basically the womb of a watermelon. And I'm just going, no, maybe if I squint, I'll be fine with it. And then you just have to say, man, that was a pain in the ass to do. But am I going to live with something that truly...
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
green screen.
There's no such thing as like a bad color. You can always find the right spot for that color. It's just, is it the right color for that moment? Green Bayou ended up being the winner here. And it really, it made the room look beautiful.
Yeah.
Like when we put it on the wall, honestly, all of us were like, ah, this is like a sigh of relief of like, it looks so pretty.
Yeah.
It was really, really nice. And it just has like a beautiful depth that the pink tone in here really needed.